Hello, welcome to Chili's. I'm gonna try to get this video done before I die. Um, I've been very sick the past couple of days. It has not been a good time. Um, I got done with a tutorial video for the private Discord, and shortly after that, I was almost incapacitated. Um, I'm trying my best to get something out there so that people don't think I'm dead. Um, So let's go ahead and talk about the market a little bit. It's probably gonna be about 5-10 minute video. And then whenever I'm feeling better, I'll be back. So please don't rush me on that. So um, let's go ahead and talk about BTC first. I'm sure a lot of you have probably just been seeing the regular technical analysis. Hey, hallelujah. We have broken the downtrend of resistance and we are coming back down to retest it. So just from a simple standpoint, yes, that is bullish. That is something to take into account. Now, obviously, I would never be advocating that you take longs as we're sitting at some of these last major horizontal resistances. But definitely on these pullbacks, you can definitely find positions if you are looking for them, looking for the correct setups. As well in this video, there's a couple different trades that I got into before we took off to the upside that I did not display, just because I was tired and I put them in with really no expectation of them working out, but then obviously they did. So I want to explain why I got into those, and that's basically on LTC, and maybe we'll talk about XRP as well. Um, so just from a simple pattern standpoint, excellent thing to see. Now, in terms of Elliott Wave, where does that leave us? What's our breakout path trajectory? A couple different scenarios that I'm thinking about is most likely either this being a 1 to a 2, all right, and this being a B, C, 3 into a 4 into a 5, because at the moment, this just doesn't line up properly with where we should be seeing a technical top. We should definitely be seeing a little bit further more to the upside. Now, we did not have a full retracement back to the 0.382, so that could be the reasoning why we did not see that full breakout. And this could just be a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but I don't really see that being the case scenario. If this is the correct trajectory path, we should be seeing a pullback after hitting that 0.618 down to about 39 and then up to about 52, which is close enough to say that we might get an extension on this 1.618 closer to the 59 to 57K mark. That's definitely the region I'll be looking at macro wise to retest before we see any sort of major pullback. At the moment, obviously, if we get back underneath that line of resistance, things can change. Now, an alternative path trajectory for the breakout is definitely going to be this being a full 1, and we're going to see a larger retrace back down to the 34 to 35K region. Now, if that does become the case scenario, this does increase our trajectory path quite a bit. We go from this to 49K, and then the projected target after that would be a pullback down to 43K, and then we should be seeing around 61,639 as the top of our fifth. So that is an alternative route. Either one of those works out quite well. For me, I just got my longs open. I'm just going to be holding on to them. Obviously, I'm not really in the mood to be doing much anyways. I'm not trying to overanalyze here. Right now, I'm sitting pretty, and the market's looking good. We have a nice solid uptrend on the RSI. We don't have any major bearish divergence on the larger time frames here. On the 15-minute, that's when we can start to see that there's a little bit of exaggerated bearish divergence, but that's to be expected in an uptrend. But on the opposite side of that, you can see we're already starting to develop quite a bit of substantial continuation bullish divergence off of these local lows here. So if I was you and I was struggling to find a position, I would be looking for this simple setup, which is a downtrend that ends and becomes an uptrend and becomes a downtrend. And you're looking for it to put in a lower low, and then that creates an if this and that statement. Or if you get back above this local low, you can go ahead and set up a stop loss and entry and let it ride. All right. One of the last things I said before I left, and kind of went on this little hiatus for my sister, and then obviously it turned into me being sick. Um, and I don't know if it was just because I was hanging out of the hospitals a lot. I probably got something from the hospital. But we were pretty much in the middle of this dip. We hadn't really dove to the downside yet, but what I was telling my students was, hey, do your due diligence. Look for the lower low setup with a higher low on the RSI. All right. Look for the long positions. All right. Because you have to play the probability. All right. You do not short when the price is already going down. That's not how we do things. All right. If we are close to a macro support, what would the logical thing to do be? I mean, what would be the logical thing to do? Sorry, sick brain. Um, with the probability on your side. And that's obviously going to mean to long. You long supports. So as we approach that support, you're looking for any opportunity to do so. And now that's the key word, any opportunity. Right? There's a difference between making up a trade and having a trade develop organically in front of your face and you take the opportunity. All right, and that opportunity was this being a downtrend, breaking into an uptrend, and breaking into a downtrend. All right, it's not luck, guys. It's not luck. All right, these opportunities were here if you were doing your due diligence, if you were not afraid to enter. And this one was a one and done. There was no re-entry. All right, you would have gotten your entry and off to the races you went. All right, right here, this could have been an easy. All right, at the very, very peak over here, at like 41.3K or whatever it was, that was already a 27 restored ratio if you do the typical setup that I have. I usually nowadays go with like a 1 to 2% stop loss, just because that's the way I've been rocking. All right, it's not suggested, it's just what I do. All right. But that was there in front of your face, and it's not just a one-time scenario thing. All right, this one had a retest of this one right here. All right, and this one is very similar to some of the ones that I got into on EOS and XRP and LTC. It looked pretty much like this. We had downtrend, uptrend, downtrend, creates that lower low. And we had a retest here, but that's all it was. And then once we confirmed that retest, it was off to the races. All right, so now let's go ahead and just kind of explain my, let's do my LTC trade here. All right, LTC, let's bring that up. All right, some of the reasons why I got into LTC, let's start with the macro time frame here. Let's go out to like the 15 minute, maybe the 30 minute. There we go. All right, so what I was looking for was regions of bullish reversal. All right, so starting with the larger trend here, we can see we have a downtrend, uptrend, downtrend. That creates this if this and that statement line right here. And you can see that was the line of bullish reversal many, many different times. And this is where I took my trade. All right, I believe so. Maybe it was right here. I'm not quite sure. Nah, it had to have been right here because it was only within the past couple of days. I've lost track of time, guys. I am not doing well, to be honest. So that's kind of where I was. I was looking at this, if this, then that macro statement line. It's always been that line of bullish control just from that setup right there. And as well as that, you can see every single time we've had kind of like the same setup approaching that line. Boom, boom. Right here, this one kind of cut deeper, but you can see it as well. Let's go down to the 15 minute now. You can see right there, boom. Even on the 15 minute, you can see that's a very, very strong divergence. Usually when we see these divergences, we can always see them on the 1 to 5 minute. But on this case scenario, we can actually see them on the 15 minute. All right, so a lot of people ask me about that. Like, if I see a divergence on the hourly versus the 5 minute, yes, it should be common knowledge here. If you have a divergence on a higher time frame, it is a much stronger divergence because it's obviously more information. You can see it, meaning it's going to have a higher effect. So this is what kind of gave me the inclination that we were going to see some sort of breakout. Now, unfortunately, it wasn't in one go. We did have a pullback in between, but it was very nice to begin with. So you can see that right there. Downtrend, uptrend, downtrend. Creates a lower low with a higher low on the RSI. It sets up an if this and that statement. I unfortunately did not get that entry. I was just in the middle of something at the moment. But with that being said, as we approached that area again, I was looking at some of the other coins, and this is a skill that you kind of have to develop. In the crypto market, things tend to move. Not all the time do they move exactly the same, but usually it might not be the structures that are exactly the same, but kind of like the speed at which price is moving to the downside or to the upside. So like if BTC is moving down, pretty much everything else is going to be moving down as well. And then when BTC stops and is in a point of reversal with a bullish setup, even if you might not be able to see a bullish setup on the other coins, it might still be there. So that's where I was able to catch, let's see, what was my entry? My entry is 157.97. So I got my entry at about right here. All right. And I believe that even though you can't see it, I did get it off of a setup. All right, let's go ahead and check that out. All right, right here. This is where I got my setup. So yes, you can go down to the 1 minute time frame. So this is where, like, if you are using the smaller time frames, you can get entries. Now, does it mean that's going to stick? No. But the thing is, it's the setup that matters. You can see right here, we have downtrend, uptrend, downtrend, creates a lower low, creates an if this and that statement. Now, I was a little bit late on the entry, don't get me wrong. But you can see a definitive higher low, which started a reversal. And from that point, off to the races. So I just want to reiterate to you guys that you can find these positions. I'm not some mastermind that has some key ticket to success. All right. It is very simplistic in how I'm doing this. It is looking at the trends, paying attention to the price action. Don't look at the YouTube channels talking about this, this, and that. Watch your chart. Once you see these developments of price action show you the opportunities to trade, all right, whether that be to the short side or to the long side, I don't care what opinion you have. All right, your opinion is not valid. All right, you as a trader looking at the probabilities, the risk to reward is what matters here. All right, so just be smart about what you're doing. I don't care if you agree with me about the market being bullish or if you are strongly agreeing that the market is bearish. All I care about is that you're entering safe trades at the end of the day and making sure that you make the most amount of money possible. Or if you are on the wrong side of things, losing the least amount as possible. So I appreciate your time today, guys. I'm very sorry for the sick voice. I'm going to go get back in bed now. I got a new microphone. Hopefully it sounds good. And I can't wait to show it off to you guys on the live stream in the upcoming days. I appreciate you very much. And I'll see you guys later. Goodbye. I love you.